What's up, everybody? It's Stephen Williams, founder and president of the CreditRepairShop.com. I wanted to answer some questions that people had here on YouTube, and also I wanted to go over something that came to my mind when dealing with some of the clients. Is they were we've been getting a lot of people that have came to our company for the main reason to repair their credit is because they have been warned during the interview process that they need to take care of some things on their credit report. We had a Secret Service agent. We've had police officers. In some areas, they do not allow police officers to have certain types of negative credit. You can have medical bills, but they do not want you owing credit card companies and having collection. Well, having basically what it comes down to with the Secret Service agent, for him to be able to get the clearance, could not have any collections. Uh, for the police officer, no collections, but they were able to have certain types of medical on there. But uh, let me just break down some things, and you can read about this online. And I was just doing my research. One of the biggest reasons why companies are checking people's credit is they're looking to see how you organize your life. Think about it this way. If you are going to work, you're in front of me and I'm interviewing you, and everything is equal between you and five other people. Everything is equal, and you want to, everybody's going to tell you their story. You don't know, some people are good at making themselves look good in interviews, uh, but you're like, okay, how can I break this tie? I really want to get someone who is qualified for this position. And one of the ways that they can use to break ties on hiring people, they can look at the credit report. They can say, well, I want someone that's organized. I want someone that is dependable. I want someone who is taking care of themselves, because everything is related. Just because you go home or we go home and we're away from a job, I can tell you myself as an employer of more. I think we just hired another four people yesterday for one of my other companies, probably getting close to 40 people that I employ. And one of the things that we would take into account, we don't hold people back because of their credit, but one of the things that we take into account is how are they leading their lives. Like, we ask questions about, if you're a single mom, how are you handling if a medical issue comes up, or do you have child care, all these types of things. Well, employers, what they can do is they can look at your credit report and say, well, how are they managing their life? And the one way that they can find out how you're managing your life is to look at your credit reports. Now, it's not how you manage your entire life, but they can say, well, is this person handling their finances? Because they don't want someone that's working for them that's asking other employees to borrow them $5 or $10 to make it to the next payday. Well, one way that you can look at how a person manages their finances is look at their credit reports. You can look at their credit reports and you can see how they're managing their life. So you can say, well, maybe they're handling their money, but it looks like that they're on the brink, if of being in financial destruction, because look at all this money that they owe. So they don't have very good organizational skills. You can look at to see if a person is under a lot of stress. If you have bad credit right now, you have collections, I would say that you probably feel that you're under a lot of stress. So there's a lot of things that companies are doing right now when they go and looking at hiring people. They're utilizing credit reports so they can make determinations on if that person is a good risk, because you can, in a way, I'm not saying that I agree with it 100%, but you can, in a way, look at how a person is leading their life by the way that their credit is looking. Overall, with anything, like when we base our uh, understanding and when you look at someone and you say that first appearance is everything, uh, we look at how a person looks. Like that's what we do. We like, how does that person look? And we all know that people of color get looked at a certain way by certain people, not all, but by certain people. Like that's that first look. So we can't say that this has not been used in our world before. It's just that now the playing field has even wiped over to where an individual, no matter what race you are, if they look at your credit reports, they could say, well, you know, he looks like a person that we could trust, but look at this credit report. And I think that we should look at another individual. These are just certain things. This is like the times that we're living in. And just got to be aware. You know, we don't agree with it, but we have to be aware that this is what companies are doing to break the tie between individuals on hiring them. So now let's go to some questions. We had some people. I had a question about the 1099-C process. I want to clarify what that is. Some of the people are thinking that you actually initiate them giving you the 1099-C. No, what a 1099-C debt cancellation is where a creditor can choose to where they can say that there's just no possibility of getting this money, and they can submit a 1099-C debt cancellation to the IRS. This is where they don't want to go to a debt collector anymore. And some of them what they'll do is they'll charge it off and then they'll send it to a debt collector to collect for them. And if the debt collector doesn't collect it, then they send it back to them and they'll file a 1099-C. Some companies will sell the debt, and once they sell the debt, they can't do 1099-C. They've already gotten the benefit of the write-off, and then the debt collector would have the choice of doing 1099-C because they have the debt. They purchased the debt. But basically, what this is they would submit a 1099-C debt cancellation to the IRS, and the IRS will consider that as income. So if you owe $5,000 to a credit card company and they submit that 1099-C to the IRS is going to expect you to add $5,000 to your income. But now it is not the end of the world. Don't get afraid. Don't say, well, that's going to raise my taxes. Because what you need to do if you get one is sit down. If you don't have write offs, like if you don't have a side business or you don't own a business where you would have a write offs, you're going to need to sit down with your tax professional and have them submit a waiver for you. You can get that money waived where it's considered an insolvency, where they know that you went through financial issues. That's why you have the 1099-C that was submitted on you, so you can have that extra income waived where it won't hurt your tax refund or anything. Uh, but you now, I think what some of the people took from my video when I stated the 1099-C process is that you can sometimes force the hand of a creditor to go ahead and just file a 1099-C. And that's by you submitting a hardship letter to them stating either you have medical problems or you had a big medical issue and you have big medical bills and you have lost a job, income, something that can show a true hardship, and you can submit that letter to the original creditor or even a debt collector. And some of the times they may feel that it's just no way we're going to get this money. So we might as well get the max out of it by submitting a 1099-C debt cancellation for the entire amount so our company can get a full write-off of all of the whole entire loss. Now, a debt collection company may not, I don't know the rules fully on it, but they buy the debt at a certain amount. They may not legally be able to submit a 1099-C for an amount that they really did not pay. But an original creditor who has given you that amount of money can submit the full 1099-C legally. Now, debt collectors, you never know what games they may play to do that, to get around that and do that. All right, and we have another question where someone said um, that they have a debt collector that says they've been assigned to collect the debt. And this is a trick that they play some of the times, not all the time, but you have to be careful. And you do have a right to get full clarification of what they mean by assign. Assign could mean that the original creditor hired a debt collection company to collect the debt. It also can mean that the original creditor potentially sold it to a portfolio company, and that portfolio company hired the third party collector in your area. Regardless of whatever the combination is, you have a right to find out the relationship to make sure that you're dealing with someone who is authorized to collect the debt for either the original creditor or for someone else. And you do that by doing a full debt validation process. The validation process is to establish who they are in relation to dealing with you. Are they representing the original creditor, another debt collector, or did they buy it? Are they the new owner? So you need to get those details from people. I mean, from debt collectors. We got another question here. Uh, Someone stated that they had a Santander loan and they just basically want to get the information removed off their credit reports. You can submit to each of the credit reporting agencies, and you can also submit a complaint and submit that information to the bureaus to get it removed using the Santander settlement agreement. And you can also submit that directly to Santander and submit it to the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau to get that information removed. If it's already been repoed, you had a late payments and all that stuff on there, like you don't even have a vehicle, at bare minimum you should be fighting to get that information removed. And I don't believe that they have any incentive to keep that on your credit reports because of that, because of the agreement that they settled with all of the states. Um, let's see here. Just had a whole bunch of people that talk, still talking about Santander. Like there's just a lot of stuff that hasn't been resolved with them yet. So I'm going to end the video here. This is Stephen Williams, founder and president of the creditrepairshop.com. Please subscribe to the channel. Please, if you need your credit reports and scores, use the link below, the number 3scores.com. If you need your credit repair, go to www.thecreditrepairshop.com. Below this video, I have several resources. I have a free demand letter, I have a cease and desist letter. You can get those for free. If you find yourself being sued in court by a debt collector, I have a service that you can utilize where we'll write up the responses and your affirmative defense to at least give you an opportunity to have a chance at winning rather than just walking in there or not showing up at all. That I believe that if you the only way you can win is if you're there to fight, and even if you lose, at least you went from start to finish. So until next time, this is Stephen Williams, founder and president of the creditrepairshop.com. Thank you.